a man had taken up the challenge of traveling across the northern United States of America by train. He had heard stories of the beautiful landscapes, the rich history, and colorful characters that could be found in the northern states. And he was determined to experience it all. It had been a long journey, filled with days spent in the warmth of the sun and nights spent in the chill of the wind. Along the way, he had met interesting people and seen amazing sights. He had traveled through small towns, large cities, and vast expanses of wilderness. Everywhere he went, he had soaked up the culture and the beauty that surrounded him. He had seen the Rocky Mountains, the Great Plains, and the Great Lakes. He had gone through the forests of the Midwest and the hills of the Northeast. Everywhere he went, he was greeted with warmth and hospitality. People were eager to share their stories and show him their way of life. The man was always looking for something new. He often chose to take the scenic route, even if it meant adding a few extra hours to his trip. He often stopped to explore the small towns and villages along the way, and he spent his days learning about the people, the culture, and the land. At each stop, he would take the time to talk to the locals, get to know their stories, and learn more about the places he was visiting. He was a sponge, soaking up the knowledge and experiences that he encountered along the way. One day, he found himself in a small town in the northern reaches of the United States. He had heard stories about this town and its people. He was eager to explore and see what he could find. The town was quaint and quiet, nestled in a valley between mountains. He soon found himself walking down the main street, taking in the sights and sounds of the sleepy little town. He spoke to the locals, asking them questions about the town and its history. He was amazed at the stories and the culture that he encountered in this small corner of the world. As he continued his journey, he found himself in awe of the beauty of the northern states. He saw the grandeur of the mountains, the untamed wild of the forests, and the majesty of the Great Lakes. Everywhere he went, he felt the strength and spirit of the people. Finally, after months of traveling, the man arrived at his destination. He had seen and experienced more than he ever could have imagined, and he was filled with a deep sense of satisfaction. He had seen the beauty of the northern United States, and he was deeply grateful for the opportunity to experience it. The man was never the same after his journey. He had seen the beauty of the North, and he had learned so much about the people and the land. He had made lifelong memories, and he was changed forever. He had seen the beauty of the northern United States, and he was forever grateful for the opportunity to explore it.
Yeah, we got to get our last meal that's on the ticket.
on what's going on, first of all, there's absolutely nothing going on. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, where are things at? Lounge car is located just about in the middle of the train. That's our social area of the train. So if you're riding in our coaches, the lounge car is behind you. If you're sitting in your seat, that lounge car is behind you. You just get up and start walking, and you'll end up in the lounge car. If you're riding in our first class sleeper accommodations today, just the opposite is true. You want to get up and walk towards the front of the train in the direction that it's going, through the dining car, and then you'll end up in the lounge car. Understand that when you come into the lounge car from either side, either from the coaches or from the sleepers, you're automatically on the upper level. On the lower level of the lounge car, there is our snack bar. Snack bar is stocked with hot and cold beverages, hot and cold sandwiches, and a variety of snacks. That snack bar is going to open up here in just a couple moments, but first I just want to go over 2 rules with you. Number 1 is about shoes, okay? Very important. You must wear shoes at all times when you're
It was a day that felt like a dream. The air was crisp and the sun was shining. I had been planning a road trip through the northern United States of America for weeks, and today was finally the day. I had just arrived at the train station and was about to embark on my journey. The train was an old, rusty red, and the windows were fogged up from the cold. I took my seat and watched as the countryside slowly slipped by. The mountains were majestic, rising high into the sky with snow-capped peaks. The evergreens were a deep, vibrant green that seemed to stretch on forever. The train continued on, crossing rivers, tunnels, and bridges. I watched as the landscape changed from mountains to rolling hills, from dense forests to open plains. I observed small towns and bustling cities, each with its own unique character. As the train chugged along, I could feel the energy in the air. I was filled with excitement and anticipation for what was to come. I felt like I was living in a movie, all the colors and sounds blending together in a beautiful symphony. The train eventually pulled into a station in the middle of nowhere. I stepped off the train and was welcomed by the smell of pine and the sound of the wind. I had arrived in a picturesque mountain town. The streets were lined with quaint shops and the buildings were covered in ivy. Everything was so peaceful and calm. I continued my journey, passing through small towns and big cities, each with its own unique charm. I watched in awe as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky lit up with stars. I felt like I was in a different world, a world that was so far away from home. Finally, after days of traveling, the train pulled into its final destination. I stepped off the train and took a deep breath of the fresh air. I had arrived in a city that was alive with energy. The streets were bustling, and the buildings were towering. Everywhere I looked, I could see people living and laughing and going about their lives. I had just experienced the most incredible journey of my life. I had traveled through the northern United States of America and seen the beauty of this country with my own eyes. No matter where I go in the future, this experience will stay with me forever.
Lunch is on a first come, first served basis. It will be a short lunch due to our arrival time in Timerville. Steve, please leave your my opening announcement. Thank you.
That's good to know. I don't know. They could be, you know, they have wild horses. I think this is government land here. They let